Hi, Thriller Movies Recap here. Today I'm going to show you a horror movie from 2016, so relax and enjoy. Spoilers ahead, watch out. The movie begins with a young woman who is a sex worker and resides at the Gemini Motel. One hectic night, she sees a shadowy figure approach her chamber. After telling him she has closed for the day, the intruder attacks and rapes her. When she finds out she is pregnant, she kills herself with a pair of scissors in an attempt to terminate the pregnancy, but the baby survives. 23 years later, Helen, who made it through her terrified mother's prenatal attack, currently lives in Toronto. She works as a bike courier and lives with her best friend Molly. On her birthday, Helen is given the duty of delivering an item to her friend Roman. When she got there, he gifts her a painting since it is her birthday. After she said it doesn't look like her, Roman tells her it is how he sees her. Helen gets the painting and heads home. While sitting outside at her motel, Helen tells Molly the tale of her mother's passing. She worries that she might end up just like her mother, but Molly assures her that she is different. Shortly, Molly receives a message on her cell phone and departs to meet up with Ed, her lover. On her way back from the motel, Helen sustained severe injuries after being hit by a car and she was taken to the hospital. She was found to have sustained many fractures as well as a head injury. After several weeks at the hospital, Helen gets permission to return home. To celebrate Helen's arrival, Molly and her pals plan a modest party. At the party, Ed, Molly's boyfriend, approaches Helen and expresses interest in her. While the celebration is in full swing, Helen unexpectedly starts to lose consciousness and have a blackout. She wakes up in a deserted parking lot. Confused, she phones Molly to find out what transpired while she was unconscious. Molly tells that she departed the celebration without letting her know where she was going. Unaware of what transpired, Helen anxiously makes her way back home. At home, Helen was surprised to see the bizarre picture she painted. Out of fear, she brings down the painting Roman gifted her and covered it with a cloth. The following day, Helen began with her usual routine of exercising, and after which she goes in to take her shower. After taking her shower, she caught a glimpse of an odd figure. As she stepped out to check what it was, she immediately experienced another blackout. She awakens and finds herself in front of her peers with injury on her foot, which confuses Molly and her friends. Molly tells her that she walked out with just a towel and vanished for hours, returning with an injured foot. Helen tells her she doesn't remember anything. Molly tells her they will go see a doctor the next day. When Molly left, Helen began to remove fragments of glass from her foot. The following day, Helen and Molly visit Dr. Headley, a physician, to discuss Helen's condition. Dr. Headley starts asking her a few questions. Helen reveals that she is constantly, unintentionally, on the go. Each time she wakes up after a blackout, she finds herself in a different locations, and it has happened several times since the accident. Additionally, she sees a dark shadow all the time. The doctor tells her she will run a CT scan on her brain after her explanations, and the findings will be available the following day. Helen gets home and heads straight to bed. While sleeping, she briefly sees glimpses of a female form and woke up to a call from the doctor. Dr. Headley informs her that her brain has experienced an unusual change. After hearing this, Helen quickly heads straight to the hospital. There, the doctor tells her that a rare kind of brain tumor has been found. It appears that all this time, someone else has been residing in her head. She explained further that Helen's mother was pregnant with twins when she killed herself in an attempt to abort the pregnancy. Although one of the twins was destroyed in the womb, it was later absorbed into Helen's skull, the survivor. Helen's previous vehicle accident activated this long-dormant twin, which is now developing rapidly and causing Helen to become unpredictable in her conduct and forget things. She now has a condition known as vanishing twin syndrome, a condition that develops when a twin miscarries during pregnancy and the twin vanishes in the uterus. The remaining fetus then absorbs the twin into its body. As a result, Helen exists as both her twin sister and herself. In order to extract her twin from her brain, the doctor recommends she have surgery. But before the surgery, she has to wait for 3 days. On her way home, she searches the internet and listens to recordings of someone who has had similar conditions as her. Helen meets up with Molly and explains everything the doctor told her. Molly encourages and tells her that she will be all right after the surgery. When she got to her room, she discovers the eerie painting Roman gave her on the wall. Although Molly wasn't the one who placed it back, she believes that she was. Then, she makes the choice to give Roman back the artwork. When Helen gets to Roman's residence, she doesn't find him anywhere. Helen finds a video on a laptop, where she is viciously tormenting Roman while he pleads for mercy. Still, she murders him without realizing it. Helen is unable to recall any of those. She notices shattered glass as she looks about Roman's home and recalls the day she returned home with a cut on her foot. Helen is now aware that she carries two identities within herself. Helen has control over her body at times, but her twin also takes control at times. It dawned on her that she is at conflict with her own body and mind. Returning home quickly, she ties her hands and feet to prevent herself from leaving the house. The following day she got up to find out that she has been untied and there was a knife on her bed with blood on her hands. Helen goes out for a walk since she can't stand being at home. Soon she starts having hallucinations and chooses to use the restroom nearby. She takes off her arm cast and exposes her hand's surgical scars. The sight of another human finger in her hand shocks her. She then chooses to depart from that location. Ed, Molly's boyfriend, starts chasing after Helen from behind. Ed finds Helen's beauty to be incredibly intriguing and tries to rape her as a result. Helen's twin starts to take over the body at that point. He is then startled when she brandishes a knife. When she regains consciousness, she heads back home. Back at home, Molly orders Helen to quit drawing strange and frightening pictures. Helen, however, tells her that she did not sketch the images. They argue until Helen's twin eventually takes over her body and begins attacking Molly. She becomes aware that she might have wounded Molly as she regains control. Helen warns Molly to keep away from her. When Molly declines, Helen makes the decision to leave the area and avoid Molly. On her way, she encounters Ed, who decides to seek vengeance because Helen previously jabbed him with a knife. Helen starts to clarify that she wasn't the one performing all that and that she was just sick. Ed ignores her and seeks to rape her. Simultaneously, her identical twin begins to assume possession of Helen's body, instantly killing Ed. Helen kills Ed. When she recovers her consciousness, she discovers that Ed has passed away. As Helen realizes how deadly she has become, she decides to kill herself at the Gemini Motel, where her mother had killed herself many years before. While at home, Molly starts to go through her old pictures with Helen. She notices a noticeable change between her before and after photos. She also detects a change in her personality. She eventually comes to the conclusion that Helen is actually two different personalities within her body. In addition, Helen was not her attacker but her twin sister inside of her. Molly quickly gives Helen a call to inquire her whereabouts. As Helen bids her farewell, she discloses that she would be ending her life at the Gemini Motel. When Molly hears this, she gets on her bike and heads directly to the motel. Helen's twin starts taking over her body just as she is about to kill herself in the motel. Molly shows up but it's already too late. Helen's body has been fully subdued by her twin and she instantly attacks Molly. After making several attempts to protect herself, Molly inevitably murders Helen. Molly recalls every moment she spent with Helen on her way home.
Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.